during the Christmas celebrations, it's always very easy to get trapped up in the glitter and the loss of everything, and to want to create a holiday experience for our family that is kind of like this tableau with the shepherds and angels and everything in its place, even every straw of hay being neatly arranged and everything, and nothing smelling like an actual stable, at all. But pine, we all want things to smell like pine. That is not the reality of life, and neither is the reality of life with Christ. Life with Christ is a mess. And this most recent holiday season has been one in which I've been asked to meditate on weakness and just the messiness and the pain that people experience through the years, but especially at this time of year that many people go through. And I was praying over this list here of the people who were brought to Jesus. Sick with various diseases, racked with pain, possessed, lunatics, and paralytics. The whole list of people that usually we try to avoid. But we see that this is exactly where Jesus was. And it was something that was indicative of him from the very beginning. And from the very beginning, he placed himself among not those who are strong, but those who are weak, to show that that is exactly where God's power goes. His power goes out to those who struggle and who fight. And I was reading an article about Jean Vanier, a Frenchman who began what's called l'Arche, which is a community that helps those who have severe disabilities, mental and physical handicaps, to find a sense of self-determination and growth and community. And he does it through prayer and through service. And in the article, I'm just going to quote a couple of things to you, because there are just a couple of very interesting things, and I think it would be very important for us, especially in this year of mercy, to contemplate these two things. Because in the year of mercy, we can be convinced that we need to go out there and do things and show the strength of our faith and our mercy. That's not the point. The point, I believe, and what our Holy Father, Pope Francis, has been inviting us, is to be able to get down with those who are in the muck of life and to share it, to share that with them and journey with them, while the mercy of God does its work to draw them up into a new life. To be willing to admit of our own failures and weakness, and so that we can be present to them and be Christ's presence to them. Jean Vanier desired to be completely transparent, to be almost to fade away, but not in a nihilistic way, but to be simply so transparent that Christ is fully shines through him in all that he does. It's a very powerful spiritual sentiment. And it's not a sentimentality thing. It's very difficult to kind of get rid of that ego part. But here in John's letter, he's inviting his community to embrace the care of our neighbor, our brother and sister near to us, as a way of revealing that Christ is present, that presence continues to radiate. And in Jean Vanier's community of l'Arche had two guiding principles. One was not only to take in those who were disabled and care for them, but also to nurture them and to spiritually strengthen them and journey with them and help them, because they've been so marginalized over many years of being rejected and even being felt as being a disappointment to their families for not being whole and entire and strong and healthy. And instead, through encouragement and love, to be able to reestablish trust, which had been lost. The best way of undoing these feelings of indifference and marginalization, he says, by building confidence in the face of rejection and recognizing the value of the weak in a world that worships the strong. The value of the weak in a world that worships the strong. And we can get sucked up into that worship of the strong, even in the year of mercy. even in our spiritual life. I'm strong, I won't fall to this. Well, but to recognize the value of the weak, because God always has his eye on the smallest. And then he says the second objective is a community building thrust. To find a place where people can truly experience community and love in that community. And it means that the persons who work there, who serve there, have to empty themselves. They have to completely empty themselves of that ego. And it's exactly what we celebrate in the Incarnation, is it not? That God emptied himself to take our humanity, to give us an opportunity to enter into the divine life. The world where despair and struggle are the rule, people are discarded because they are not productive, and the powerful have little patience for the broken. The world that crucified divinity and aches for redemption. The world that crucified divinity yet aches for redemption. I just found that those guiding principles of this community, I think something that we also could look towards as guiding principles for the Year of Mercy. To look at the value of the weak in a world that worships the strong. To empty ourselves so that we can enter into a culture that pushes those who are not productive and strong to the side. A culture that wants to crucify divinity while it yearns for redemption. And enter into it not as a conquering force, but as a gentle light that leads that culture to examine itself and to follow Jesus' invitation to repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand.